Ayo, what's up? I am Kaz. Today I want to talk about Ragnarok Online 3. First, I want to talk about the RO3 dev team. Before and during the Pioneer test, they were incredibly responsive, welcoming, and genuinely friendly. You can see the passion on every interaction. And beyond their kindness, the work they've done on the game itself is nothing short of fantastic. So to the entire dev team, thank you. So keep up the good work. Now, let's talk about Ragnarok Online 3. First of all, I love how the game looks. It feels like falling in love with your first love all over again. Back in RO1's peak, we didn't care that it was pixelated. It wasn't the most beautiful game, and despite its flaws, we still found it cute and adorable. But now, seeing the game with its current level of graphic fidelity brings a wave of nostalgia and sentimentality. The feelings are both familiar and unfamiliar. Same but different kind of vibe. The cute, endearing charm from before has evolved into something truly appealing and captivating. It's new, it's unfamiliar, but it still echoes the game we grew up with. And for me, that's worth paying attention to. Of course, the RO BGM has always been nostalgic for me, but this is the first time in Ragnarok Remake has stirred those feelings through visuals alone. The art style and colors remain true to the heart of the original, yet everything now feels refined, modern, polished, and beautifully matured. It's like the RO we loved has stepped forward into the present without losing its style. And when it comes to the background music, I won't say much. We already know what to expect, and we already know what we're going to feel. Ragnarok's music has always spoken for itself, and it continues to do so here. Sometimes there's nothing left to say. This time you just let the sound take you back. If you agree with me, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. For the next topic of this video, the one everyone has been waiting for, let's talk about gameplay. When it comes to gameplay, I'll focus only on what I personally experienced in this game mode. The core mechanics, how it feels to play, and how the controls respond. This is all based on my own hands-on time with the game, nothing more, nothing less. For the movement controls are directional. You use WASD to move. One of my friends who was with me during the live test pointed out that the legacy click-to-move system is actually still in the game. It's just tucked away in the settings and I completely missed it. For targeting, the game uses a modern system that includes smart casting and quick casting, giving combat a smoother and more responsive feel. It also keeps the classic targeting style where you simply left-click everything, perfect for players who prefer the old-school approach. There's also a tab function to cycle through targets and adjust your target lock easily. The reason the game supports multiple targeting options is because it also features an autoplay system, so having flexible controls helps accommodate different playstyles. For some players, the autoplay feature is controversial. I've seen testers and players suggesting that it should be removed entirely. Personally, this is just my opinion. I think it's good to have the option. There are moments when you want to play, but real life pulls you away. Maybe you need to work, cook, study, or handle something quickly. In those moments, having autoplay is helpful because it lets you do two things at once without feeling like you're falling behind. Of course, there's a trade-off. Some players might abuse autoplay in dungeons, raids, or even GVG and WoW, and that would definitely create terrible experiences for everyone else. That concern is valid. But let's be honest, autoplay isn't new to us anymore. It exists in so many Ragnarok games. So at the end of the day, you do you. Use it if you want, ignore it if you don't. At the end of the day, we are the ones who decide which games we want to play and which ones we don't. But what about you guys? Do you like the autoplay feature or not? If you don't, why? And if you do, why as well? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to mention that the game mode we tested was 40 versus 40 GVG, with a maximum capacity of 100 versus 100. So the gameplay footage you're seeing right now is from the GVG mode. Game optimization. Surprisingly, the game already feels solid. We didn't encounter any game-breaking bugs during our tests. One of our guildmates did find something unusual. but we're still not sure if it was actually a bug or an intended feature. In our conversations with the dev team, I didn't hear any major bug-related issues being reported. However, we did experience some server problems and disconnections during the live test. Fortunately, the dev team quickly addressed the issue with a server reset and everything went back to normal. Overall, the game is looking so good and so clean. You didn't see what I did there. Kidding aside, let's talk about visual clarity. In Ragnarok Online 1, this was one of the top-tier problems. Sometimes the screen got so chaotic you'd just stare at it like, wait, am I even playing anymore? Other times it looked like your game simply gave up and said, nope, too many effects, I'm done. I'm not gaming anymore, but I can give you a PowerPoint presentation of your final moments. What I can say is that during the RO3 live test, we didn't experience the classic "my GPU is crying for help" visual clarity disaster. But let's not fool ourselves. There's a reason everything looked calm. First of all, the real war crime storm Gust, Lord of Vermilion, and any skill capable of summoning the entire electricity consumption for creating Mjolnir aren't in the game yet. So of course the battlefield looks clean. Second, we only tested with around 80 players. 80. That's not GVG, that's a slightly aggressive leveling party. But once we hit 100 versus 100, or God forbid War of Imperium, that's when the Tree of Yggdrasil will crack open. Because you know what's going to happen. Every wizard, sage, and random class that shouldn't even have AoE is going to slam their entire skill bar like they're trying to resurrect Satan of Morok using particle effects. Your screen isn't just going to lag. Your monitor is going to look at you, sigh, and say, listen, I was not built for this. Then disconnects itself from your PC and ascends to Valhalla. At that point, you're not playing RO3 anymore. You're watching a PowerPoint slideshow of the destruction of Asgard, running at 5 FPS while your character dies, revives, dies again, and teleports into another dimension. But hey, we still have to find that out. Thankfully, our technology today is miles ahead of what we had back then. So for now, let's shift to another battlefield, game balance. In this gameplay footage, I want to point out something important. Every class was using the same equipment, but only within their own class. RGs had the same gear as other RGs. RKs had the same gear as other RKs. Priests with priests, rangers with rangers, GX with GX. So to be clear, each class shared identical equipment only with members of the same class. Because of this setup, the game mode felt balanced. And personally, I appreciated it. It created an environment where everyone started equally, allowing player skill and class knowledge to stand out. Same equipment, pre-built skill sets, no external advantages, just pure gameplay. I'll talk more about that experience in my next video. As for the overall game balance, I don't have many strong opinions yet because a lot of the iconic skills are not implemented at this stage. Rawak, Sight, Stormgust, Safety Wall, Pneuma, Land Protector, Dispel, Poison Skills, Dragon Breath, and more. In other words, many core skills that define counterplay or create specific interactions are still missing. Because of this, each job currently performs its intended role without major interference. And in this GVG mode, macro-level gameplay is encouraged due to the objective-based structure. The developers also mentioned that elemental advantages and elemental counters are not implemented yet, so status effects do not enhance damage. The game is still in a foundational but stable state. However, one thing I can say, and will demonstrate in the next video, is that in the current build, two classes seem to benefit the most: Royal Guards and Warlocks. So be sure to keep it in mind when choosing a class later on. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Ragnarok Online 3 has a lot more going on than what we saw in this test. I'll talk more about something many RO veterans have been waiting for, why RO3 might actually be worth coming back for, and what it does differently to bring that classic Ragnarok feeling into a modern game. If you're a former RO player, or someone who's been searching for that spark again, don't miss it. See you in the next one.